As I promised yesterday, I was going to come back and do a little bit on the boat. Thank you guys for thanking me. I love to have feedback, of course. And even if I don't get the streams, the views, I'm going to keep trying. It's really cold here in Portland, so blogging or doing outside car stuff's kind of not really going to happen right now. It's just too cold. As you can look at my TV up here, they're showing snow. Although right here where I'm at, it's not snowing. But mostly around the metropolitan area here, we do have snow. So yesterday we talked about some different cars I had. This is the Lamborghini. This is me in this is right off of 101 on Ventura on the Tarzana area. This is the second day I had the car back to the motel before we gave it to the shipper to send back up to Portland. Yes, that's me. I am disabled, and I am in a disabled parking spot with a Lamborghini. Pretty crazy, huh? All right. Another cool car I had was 2006 SSR. If you remember the SSR, it was that pickup that had a 4-year build. Chevy built it 4 years. I really liked it. I thought it was really cool. It failed, and 03 and 04 was a good motor, but for the truck, because the truck was heavy, a 300 horsepower motor just wasn't going to get it. So 05 and 06, they stepped it up to the 6-liter C6 Corvette motor. I think it was the C6, because 05, 06 was the first years for the C6. And again, this is a really, really neat truck. I actually wished I would have kept this thing too. This is too bad. Perfect truck. It had 40-some thousand on it. I just enjoyed the heck out of it. I really did. It was an 06, so it had the 6-liter motor. I think it was rated at 395 horsepower. People called it 400. And truck got it. It was a nice driver. It had power. I'm not a race car driver, although I enjoy the, zoom, zoom. Who doesn't? And this thing's just kind of cool looking. This is really cool looking. I bought it from a family who the guy that owned it passed away. And it's kind of sad on that part, on that end. But another thing I did is I had a motorhome. Let me get up here to the motorhome. I had this motorhome, and 40-foot Gulfstream, had one slide, and on the back I put this little thing in the trailer. It just went into the sleeve, and then it had a little ramp. It held up. It said 500 pounds, but I don't think. This little scooter here, this is Lincoln City, Oregon, and I have that scooter on it, tie it down, and that's Chinook Wind's casino behind me. They have a parking lot there that you can park and virtually stay for free. So we went down there quite a bit. Me and this gal, who also we went to Disneyland together, Christy. We are no longer together, and that's a story in itself. It's too bad. She's a good girl. That's a story in itself there. We might get to it someday. Okay. Here's an interesting story. I bought the motorhome. I took it to Brookings, Oregon. Now where we stayed in it for about a week down there, and then we took this trike and drove it almost to San Francisco. I had Harley Davidson Tri-Glide. Isn't that cool? That was a cool trike. We took that trike and went on a 3-day tour with it from Brookings, Oregon, all the way south on 101. It was just iconic. Now you can see the bike right here. Oops. Right here's the trike, motorhome trailer. Okay, on the way down with this setup at 6 in the morning, it was still dark, a little foggy. I'm going through the mountains, going through the corners, and I'm doing about 50, and an elk just appeared literally right in front of the bus. This thing had to be, it was huge because his head came up to the top of the windshield here. And as I went back outside that day, that was probably about almost 7 feet. So his head was over 7 feet in the air. There's anything I could do. I'm doing 50 miles an hour. I mean, he just literally jumped onto the freeway for one split second. I look down, I see him. It's almost like we caught eye to eye, and the bus, it just went right over him. Well, there's nothing I could do. I felt terrible. Now, this is a big animal going under the bus and a trailer I've got behind it. Oh, my goodness. I'm on an air ride, air suspension, air brakes. I'm looking at the air meter the whole time. I'm going boop, 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 in a 46,000 pound bus, 40 feet long, with a 11-liter Cummins diesel, 450 horsepower. I mean, this thing was a monster. This thing would pull that trailer, pull anything up downhill 70. I took it to LA. We went over the Grapevine on cruise at 70 the whole way. Didn't even skip a beat. This was one very, very killer motorhome. So there wasn't anywhere to pull over, and there were people behind me. I don't know what the heck happened as the carcass of this elk came out of the back under the trailer. I mean, I had to crush him. It was probably 30 miles before I could actually pull the bus over there, where there was really no shoulder. This was a 2-lane highway going through the mountains, and there's nowhere to park the bus, nowhere to pull it over. So thank God it didn't break an airline, because that would have locked it up and we would have been done right there. So we get to a spot, we pull it over. It's daylight now. I go out and I'm looking the bus over. I got bone. I got hair. I got meat. There's all kinds of pieces of this elk under the bus. And then where he shot out, it kind of, well, it hit in the front. It cracked my windshield. And I had that slide out in the front where the generator goes. It kind of busted that up. Luckily, it still slid out and slid back, and the generator still ran. And we continued our trip, which was, we were probably 120 miles into a 300 and some mile trip to where we parked. This is Brookings, Oregon. It's a campground that we parked at, so we had to travel probably 200 more miles to get there. And this picture here was taken just down the road from where we were parked. So this was all during that same trip. We didn't have to abandon the trip and go home. Everything on the bus was still functioning. Had a few cracks, you know, some breaks where this thing hit in the front, came out the back, went under the trailer. I was surprised the trailer didn't suffer any damage at all. I mean, the elk was pretty much hamburger by the time I got to the trailer. I felt so bad. I mean, there's anything I can do. I'm going 50 miles an hour, and it literally jumped and dropped just like that in front, just like my hand is in front of that computer. Just like that, just dropped right in front of our bus at 50 miles an hour. Boom. It was over within seconds. Nothing I could do. Absolutely nothing. And had I swerved, or if there was a chance and I would have swerved, I would be dead. I would be dead, because on both sides, it was a drop off. we were on a mountain. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't say exactly, but we were on a mountain. So if the bus, the whole thing would have went over the side. We would have blown up, burned up, who knows what. And, you know, in a bus, you're sitting right on the windshield. So I would have ate whatever came through that windshield. So God was watching. And we walked through that one. That was, that was a long time ago. That was, I think, 2010. 2011, something. No, it had to be 2012. The trike was in 2012. So it had to be 2012 or 13, something like that. So, okay. Now, we took it down at Disneyland. That was a lot of fun. Here it is parked. And this is right across the street from Disneyland. Literally right across the street. There's our scooter. This place had a shuttle that took people over and back to Disneyland, and there I am in front of the Magic Kingdom. Had a blast, had an absolute blast. This is 2013, so what, 6 years ago? 6 years ago? Yeah, 6 years ago. That was a lot of fun. Okay, here's the Dyna 54, 1990 Dyna 54. I had so much fun on that. We would anchor it on the Columbia River and spend, you know, anywhere from 2 to 3 days to a week. I never actually drove it all the way to the coast. However, I did take it almost down there to Catlamet, which is real close. And we had anywhere from 2 to 3 people to up to 11 people at sometimes on the yacht. And it was just a party. This back sun deck right here, had a patio glass top table. There were 6 chairs, plus we brought 2. So we had like 8 chairs back there. And then, yeah, it was just great. Look at this guy climbing an ice sheet right here up in the gorge. It's just crazy cool up there. Okay, now, after this yacht, I sold this yacht. I got a 2000, and this is in 2000. This is before the trip, the other trip. So anyway, this is 2000 and I think 9 or 2010. I sold the Dyna and I bought a 2000 54-foot Navigator, 53-foot Navigator. This had twin Volvo diesels, very efficient boat, very modern inside, pilot house. So you could walk the door. There's a door right here. This is downtown Portland. That's the Hawthorne Bridge behind me. And we were coming up to dock on the city dock. And this was a really, really fun boat. Had the dinghy. I don't know if you can see it, the dinghy up on the back up here. Had some really cool dinghies for that boat too. Had a jet. This is a jet dinghy. You can't really see it, but it had a 3-cylinder. I think it was a 3-cylinder, 120 horsepower, 2-stroke with a jet, and it was just fast, very fast. This is at our moorage, Sulphur Bay, back in 2009 or 10, something like that. Again, we had a blast, just a blast on that. Here's a up close, more little closer picture. Had the barbecue, the chair. It was just an iconic boat. Had a lot of fun. Here's the dinghy. Here's a little bit better picture of that dinghy. The Zodiac. The motor is underneath this, so it's like a little jet. Incredibly fun, fast little dinghy. 12-foot long, 120 horse, and just scream. I mean, this thing can do 40, 50 miles an hour. As soon as you hit the throttle, you're gone. Okay. I ran a business, a moving company, for 25 years, and it was located in a flood zone. There you go. This was taken by a friend, and that truck back parked by the house was us escaping the flood. I had to walk back, get in that truck, pull it up. That's a moving truck, and get the heck out of there. Okay, another fun car I had, 2007 Corvette C6. I believe I had this car. Oh, when did I have this car? I believe I had this car in 2013. It was a lot of fun. It was some kind of a sunburst orange. Beautiful car, beautiful car. And then a friend of mine came over one day and I told him I was thinking about selling it. And he says, I'll buy it. And I sold it to him for what I paid for it. I broke even. There it is again. It's a beautiful car. It had more miles. It was fully loaded too. It was a 3LT, had navigation, had everything. And I think it had like 75 or 80,000 miles on it. So here's the Beacon. This is a yacht club I belong to. And that's actually my boat right there. That's my boat right there. This was during the summer months. I can't remember, 2010. And the club comes out and does a big water fight with their dinghies like that. It was a lot of fun. Okay, here we are downtown Portland with that same yacht and my girlfriend at the time. That's the Hawthorne Bridge, and they made a makeshift island out there, and it was just a huge party. That was a very fun time. Again, here we go. Isn't she a cuters? She is a cuters too. Yes, sir. Christy. Yes, Christy. Yeah, that's a story I shouldn't really even say anything about. It's sad. She still is around. We had to split up. Here's a BMW. Have this. Fun car. Another fun car. Another shot of the bus down in LA. The slide out. Had one slide out, which made it incredibly fun. Incredibly fun. Here's that C6 Corvette, the gold sunburst with the heads up. That's the heads up display. Another very fun item. Here we are at Chinook Winds Casino down in Lincoln City. That was a lot of fun, that bus. That was a lot of fun. You got about 10 miles a gallon, too. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yep. See, was that slide out right here in the front? This thing here is what got damaged when the elk hit us. I mean, I'm telling you, his head was about right here. He went straight underneath. And I was amazed that he didn't damage the bus more than he did. He, she, whatever it was. Now, when Camaro in 2010, you remember, Chevrolet. In 2010, Chevrolet started the Camaro, and it was the 5th generation Camaro. And I was like, wow. I think everybody was. Everybody just was like, wow. Ford had already come out with the Mustang, 2004 or 5, 6, something like that. I'm not a big Ford person, but I love Chevrolet, Corvette, and Camaros. Gotta love them. And I bought in 2010, I bought a 2010 Camaro. There it is. This is the V6 300 horse model. And I got a good deal on it. And that's me there standing there. And that's me back there. No gray hair either. Hardly any gray hair. So that was 9 years ago. I drove the car for about a year or so, and then I sold it and bought a 2011 red SS convertible. The problem with the C5 Generation 5 Camaro convertible is it wasn't covered. The top was out. So you get on the freeway, you're doing 60 miles an hour, the little sides start flapping. I did not like that at all. I did not like that at all. Now, if you travel 101, if you've ever been down on 101 in the Redwood Forest, I think it's as you're entering the Redwood, you get out of Oregon. I think it's just outside of Oregon, and you start to enter the Redwood Forest. It's a big statue of Paul Bunyan and what's that? The bull or his bull. That's me standing right there. That's me standing right there. This thing, there's the bull. There's the bull. I got a picture of me right underneath holding the sack. But that guy, he's got to be what, 100 feet tall? I mean, this thing is incredible. We're driving along 101. I didn't even know it was there. And then, you come out of so you can see the woods, the redwoods, and you're on 101. It's just 100-foot trees on both sides of you. And then you come out, and here's this guy. We pulled over. There's a souvenir shop there. There's some really iconic stuff there, too. And took a bunch of pictures and then got back on the trike. This is when we were on the trike and went all the way down. There's another spot I don't have pictures of where you're going along. You come off 101, goes into 4 lanes and really kind of opens up. You come out of the forest on a 2-lane highway, and you get on this 4-lane highway, and you're going along. You go across this bridge, and then all of a sudden it goes back down to 2 lanes, and you go back into the redwoods. And you look up ahead, and there's this 90-degree corner. Says 15 miles an hour, and you're warned way ahead of time before you get there, so you slow down. Because if you don't, you're not going to make it. I mean, it's literally a 90-degree turn. There's no slope, bank, nothing. It's just a 2-lane road with a 90-degree. And right in this corner is a chainsaw. I didn't see the chainsaw artist is there, but I mean, there's Shrek, a statue of Shrek. Got to be 6.5, 7 foot tall statue of Shrek and the donkey. It's all one big, huge piece of wood. Then there's the Blue Fairy. There's Pinocchio. There's all the characters in my childhood cartoons and fairy tale stories. And these statues go for about 100 yards all the way in front of this gift shop. The gift shop really isn't that big either. It's actually kind of small. But they've got a lot of really cool stuff. And we bought a couple of coffee cups, which I still use today. Believe it or not, this coffee cup came from that spot. I still use it today. And that was in 2012 or 13, because the trike was a 12. Now, I'm rambling on. This is a long video, folks. So enjoy. I'll try to make it interesting. Okay. And peace out.